Days before my birthday, I knew my sister would make something up to make my parents cancel the event. It had become a pattern I couldn't ignore anymore. So when they left for her again, I left for good. I walked through the front door after an 8-hour shift at the hardware store holding a chocolate cake I bought myself from the grocery store bakery. $6. Happy birthday written in blue frosting that was already smearing. My parents Patricia and Dennis were sitting in the living room with my sister Haley like an intervention. The second I walked in, Mom looked up with that practiced disappointment expression and said, "Blake, we've decided there won't be any birthday celebration this year. Haley's been feeling overshadowed and needs the family's full attention right now." Haley sat on the couch with fake tears already forming. I'd seen this routine my whole life. When Haley was 8, she won some regional pageant, and from that day forward, every dollar, every weekend, every ounce of family attention went to her. My straight A report cards got brief nods. Her participation ribbons got framed. I'd been sleeping in the smaller bedroom since I was 5 because Haley needed space for her pageant costumes. But this time something was different. 3 hours earlier, I'd come home early and overheard Haley on the phone in her room. "Yeah, I already told Mom I need extra attention right now." She giggled. "Blake's birthday is tomorrow, but who cares? I told them I've been feeling depressed. The best part is nobody knows I flunked out of college 3 weeks ago. By the time that dismissal letter arrives, they'll be so worried about my mental health, they won't even care about the $40,000 they wasted on my tuition. $40,000. They told me they couldn't help with my college expenses because money was tight. I'd been working at the hardware store for 2 years to pay my own way. Something inside me that had been cracking for years just shattered. I set the cake on the coffee table without a word, walked to my room, started packing. Every drawer, every important document, every piece of clothing I cared about, folded into 2 duffel bags and a backpack. 23 years of my life fit into 3 bags. At midnight, Dad knocked. He stood in the doorway looking older than his 48 years, pulled out his wallet and handed me 5 crumpled $100 bills. "This is all I have. I know we failed you. I just don't have any fight left. Where will you go?" he asked. "Does it matter?" I left at 2 a.m. while everyone slept and drove to my grandfather Walter's house across town. He was the only person in my family who ever saw through this. Used to meet me at the library with sandwiches and actually listened. He opened the door in his bathrobe, took one look at my bags and stepped aside. Birthday went well, I take it. He'd been secretly building me a college fund for years. $8,000, enough to finish my degree if I stayed local and worked. He told me his spare room was mine. "No rent. Just promise me you'll finish college and make something of yourself. Best revenge is living well." The dismissal letter arrived 2 weeks after I left. Mom called 17 times the day it hit. I deleted every voicemail without listening. Without me there to be the scapegoat, the family had to actually look at each other. They didn't like what they saw. I worked the hardware store full time, took summer classes, finished my business degree in 3 years. Walter taught me real estate the same way he taught me everything. Patient, hands-on, no shortcuts. At 24, I bought my first foreclosure for $45,000. Spent 6 months learning plumbing from YouTube and tiling from contractors I'd met at the store. Appraised at $89,000. Rented it to 2 teachers. By 26, I owned 3 properties. By 30, I had 15. By 33, my company hit 7 figures annually. Walter passed of cancer when I was 30. Left me everything with a note. "You were the grandson I was proud to claim, and the son my boy never learned to be." Mom showed up at his door once during his last months. He met her on the porch and didn't let her in. "You gave up that right when you chose your daughter's fantasy over your son's reality." She left a 3-page letter. Last paragraph. "We're having financial difficulties. Maybe you could give us a loan. Family helps family." There it was. I didn't respond. Ever. Dad finally divorced Patricia. Showed up at my wedding years later looking 10 years younger. "I wasted 20 years being afraid of your mother's anger. The only thing I should have been afraid of was wasting more time being afraid." Haley actually changed. Got a job as a hostess. Worked her way up to shift manager. Sent me a message years later. No excuses, no requests. Just, "I finally understand what you've known all along. Real worth comes from what you build, not what you're given." Last year, I opened a community center in Walter's name. Computer lab, tutoring rooms, a restaurant that charges $1 a plate so people keep their dignity. At the opening, Dad stood up and said, "That's my son. That's my boy in every way that matters." Patricia is still out there somewhere, working as a receptionist, telling anyone who will listen about her ungrateful children. I rarely think about her. That's the thing nobody tells you about revenge. It isn't success or money, it's indifference. She tried to make me invisible, so I disappeared and built something she'll never be able to see from where she's standing.